started with that one. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's this one. Yes.
Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, a halfpenny will do. If you haven't got an halfpenny, as we say in East Texas, well, God bless you. Welcome to our fourth production of Readers Theater for 2025, brought to you by the Second Chance Players. We hope you get in the mood for Christmas, which is coming way too soon. No props, no costumes, no running around the stage, for the most part. Just pure entertainment. Now, for the comfort of everyone, audience and actors alike, please silence your cell phones. If a cell phone does go off during our performance, the offender will be escorted from the room by our Sergeant at Arms, Janet Todd in the back. The offender will be locked in a solitary confinement until the production is complete. Our first presentation is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Maria Villarreal, Ginger Armstrong, Libby Ryan, Joe Compton, and Dewey Owens.
Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason.
It could be perhaps his shoes were too tight. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. But I think the most likely reason of all may have been his heart was 2 sizes too small.
But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Whos.
Staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a holly Who wreath.
And they're hanging their stocking.
He snarled with a grin.
Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here.
Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming.
I must find some way to keep Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, I know all the Who's girls and boys will wake bright and early. They'll rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise. Oh, the noise. 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 There's one thing I hate. It's all the noise. 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 And they'll squeak. And they'll squeal. And they'll race around on their wheels. They'll dance with Gene Tinglers tied on their wheels. They'll blow their floof-loofers. They'll bang their gardukas. They'll bang their gartukas. And they'll blow their whoopers. They'll spin their troop hoopers. They'll slam their swoosh hookahs. And they'll beat their bloom hoopers. They'll wham their whoopers. And they'll play noisy games like Zuzitz Karzay. They'll roller skate type of lacrosse and croquet. Then they'll make ear-splitting noise croquet gazooks on their great electro hoocarnio flutes. And then they'll feast, young and old, who'll sit down to feast. And they'll feast. They'll feast on Who pudding and rare who roast beast. Raw roast beast is a feast I can't stand in the least. And then they'll do something I hate most of all. Every who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, they'll stand hand in hand, and those who's will start singing. And they'll sing, 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 and they'll sing, sing, sing.
And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought.
I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming.
Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea.
I just know what to do.
The Grinch laughed in his throat.
I'll make a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat.
And he chuckled and chuckled.
What a great Grinchy idea. With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer.
The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there were none to be found. Did that stop the Grinch? Ha! The Grinch simply said,
If I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead.
So he took his dog Max, and he took some black thread, and he tied a big horn on top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he whistled for Max. Then the Grinch said,
Giddy up.
And the sleigh started down towards the homes where the Who's lay us news in their town.
All the windows were dark. No one knew he was there. All the Who's were dreaming sweet dreams without care when he came to the first house of the square.
This is stop number one.
the old Grinchy Claus hissed as he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa can do it, then so can the Grinch.
He got stuck only once for a minute or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings hung all in a row.
These stockings
He grinched.
are the first things to go.
Then he slindered and sithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant. Around the whole room he took every present: pop guns, pampugas, pantulkas, and drums, checkerboards, bizzlebigs, popcorn, and plums, and he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch, very nimbly, stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney.
Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. Then he took the Who's pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took the last of the Who's hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee.
Now
Grinned the Grinch.
I'll stuff up the tree.
As the Grinch took the tree, as he started to shove, he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was no more than 2. She stared at the Grinch and said,
Cindy Lou, Santa Claus, why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?
But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick.
Why, my sweet little tot,
The fake Santa Claus lied.
there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'll take it home to my workshop, my dear. So I'll fix it up there. Then I'll bring it back here.
And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head, and he got her a drink, and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou, who was in her bed with a cup, he crept up the chimney and stuffed the tree up.
Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. The last thing he took was the log for their fire. On the walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses.
It was 1:15, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still snooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, their ribbons, their wrappings, their snoof and their fuzzles, their trinklers and trappings.
10,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it.
Pooh-pooh to the Who's.
He was grinching, humming.
They'll find out now that no Christmas is coming. They'll just wake up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will cry boo-hoo. That's the noise
Grin the Grinch.
that I simply must hear.
He paused, and the Grinch put a hand to his ear. And did he hear a sound rising over the snow? It started in low. It started to grow. But this sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded glad.
Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same.
And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling.
How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags.
And he puzzled and puzzled till his peddler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't thought of before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from the store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a bit more.
And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And when the true meaning of Christmas came through, and the Grinch found the strength of 10 Grinches plus 2.
And now that his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. With a smile to his soul, he descended Mount Crumpet, cheerily blowing hoo-hoo on his trumpet.
He rode into Whoville. He brought back their toys.
He brought back their food to the Who girls and boys.
He brought back their snoof and their tringlers and fuzzles.
Brought back their pantukas, their dafflers and wuzzles. He brought everything back, all the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
In 1914, in Eastern Europe, erupted into an armed conflict, which would eventually engulf the whole world. But in the first months, it was Germany and Britain who started the trench warfare on the Western Front. During that first Christmas in the trenches, the two forces found themselves at loggerheads until something strange and wonderful occurred. Let us pretend that in 2025, 4 women, portrayed by Suzanne Isaacs, Joe Cape, Carol Toth, and Rose Condon, are going through the papers and collections of grandparents, long-lost cousins, aunts, uncles, friends. Each finds a letter written on Christmas Day, 1914.
Dear Mother,
My darling Meg,
My good friend Charles,
my dear sister Janet, is 2 o'clock in the morning, and most of our men are asleep in their dugouts.
Yet I could not sleep myself before writing to you of the wonderful events of Christmas Eve.
In truth, what happened seemed almost like a fairy tale. And if I hadn't been through it myself, I'd scarce believe it.
Just imagine, while you and the family sang carols before the fire there in London, I did the same thing with enemy soldiers here on the battlefields of France.
That's okay.
As I wrote before, there's been little serious fighting of late. The first battles of the war left so many dead that both sides have held back until replacements could come from home. So we have mostly stayed in our trenches and waited.
But what a terrible waiting it has been, knowing that any moment an artillery shell might land and explode beside us in the trench, killing or maiming several men, and in daylight not daring to lift our heads above the ground for fear of a sniper's bullet.
And the rain, it has fallen almost daily. Of course, it collects right in our trenches where we must bail it out with pots and pans. And with the rain has come the mud, a good foot or more deep.
It splatters and cakes everything and constantly sucks at our boots. One new recruit got his feet stuck in it and then his hands too when he tried to get out.
Through all this, we couldn't help feeling curious about the German soldiers across the way. After all, they faced the same dangers we did and struggled about in the same muck.
What's more, their first trench was only 50 yards from ours. Between us lay no man's land, bordered on both sides by barbed wire. Yet they were close enough, we sometimes heard their voices.
Of course, we hated them when they killed our friends, but other times we joked about them and almost felt like we had something in common.
And now it seems they felt the same.
Just yesterday morning, Christmas Day, we had our first good freeze. Cold as we were, we welcomed it because at least the mud froze.
Everything was twinged white with frost, with a bright sun shone over all. Perfect Christmas weather.
During the day, there was little shelling or rifle fire from either side. And as darkness fell on our Christmas Eve, the shooting stopped entirely.
Our first complete silence in months. We hoped it might promise a peaceful holiday, but we didn't count on it. We'd been told the Germans might attack and try to catch us off guard.
I went to my dugout to rest, and lying on my cot, I must have drifted asleep. All at once, my friend was shaking me awake, saying, "Come and see what the Germans are doing." I grabbed my rifle, stumbled out into the trench, and stuck my head cautiously above the sandbags.
I never hoped to see a stranger or more lovely sight. Clusters of tiny lights were shining all along the German line, left and right, as far as the eye could see.
"What is it?" I asked in bewilderment. And someone answered, "Christmas trees."
And so it was. The Germans had placed Christmas trees in front of their trenches, lit by candle or lantern like beacons of goodwill.
And then we heard their voices raised in song.
Stille Nacht, heilige Nacht, alles schläft, einsam wacht.
This carol may not yet be familiar to us in Britain, but one soldier knew it and translated, "Silent night, holy night." I've never heard one more lovely or more meaningful. In that quiet, clear night, it's dark, softened by a quarter moon.
When the song finished, the men in our trenches applauded. Yes, British soldiers applauding Germans.
Then one of our own men started singing, and we all joined in. The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay.
In truth, we sounded not nearly as good as the Germans with their fine harmonies. But they responded with enthusiastic applause of their own, and then began another.
O Tannenbaum, O Tannenbaum, wie drüsen deine Blätter.
And then we replied, "O come, all ye faithful,
Joyful and triumphant, O come ye to Bethlehem."
But this time they joined in, singing the words in Latin.
Adeste fideles, leti triumphantes, venite, venite in Bethlehem. British and German harmonizing across no man's land. I would have thought nothing could be more amazing, but what came next was more so.
English, come over. We heard one of them shout, you no shoot, we no shoot.
There in the trenches, we looked at each other in bewilderment. Then one of us shouted jokingly, "You come over here."
To our astonishment, we saw two figures rise from the trench, climb over their barbed wire, and advance, unprotected, across no man's land.
One of them called, "Send officer to talk."
I saw one of our men lift his rifle to the ready, and no doubt others did the same. But our captain called out, "Hold your fire." Then he climbed out and went to meet the German halfway.
We heard them talking, and a few minutes later, the captain came back with a German cigar in his mouth. "We've agreed there will be no shooting before midnight tomorrow," he announced. "But sentries are to remain on duty, and the rest of you stay alert."
Across the way, we could make out groups of 2 or 3 men, starting out of their trenches and coming toward us.
Then some of us were climbing out too, and in minutes more, there we were in no man's land, over 100 soldiers and officers of each side, shaking hands with men we had been trying to kill just hours earlier.
Before long, a bonfire was built, and around it we mingled, British khaki and German gray. I must say, the Germans were the better dressed with fresh uniforms for the day.
Only a couple of our men knew German, but more of the Germans knew English. I asked one of them why that was. "Because many have worked in England," he said. "Before all this, I was a waiter at Hotel Cecil. Perhaps I waited on your table." "Perhaps you did," I said, laughing.
One German told me he had a girlfriend in London and that the war had interrupted their plans for marriage. I said, "Don't worry, we'll have you beat by Easter. Then you can come back and marry your girl." He laughed at that. Then he asked if I'd send her a postcard he would give me later, and I promised I would.
Another German had been a porter at Victoria Station. He showed me a picture of his family back in Munich. His eldest sister was so lovely. I told him I should like to meet her someday. He beamed and said he would like that very much. and gave me his family's address.
Even those who could not converse could still exchange gifts. Our cigarettes for their cigars, our tea for their coffee, our corned beef for their sausage. Badges and buttons from uniforms changed owners, and one of our lads walked off with the infamous spiked helmet.
I myself traded a jackknife for a leather equipment belt, a fine souvenir to show when I get home.
Newspapers too changed hands. The Germans howled and laughed at ours. They assured us that France was finished and Russia was nearly beaten too.
We told him that was nonsense, and one of them said, "Well, you believe your newspapers and we'll believe ours."
Clearly, they are lied to. Yet after meeting these men, I wonder how truthful our own newspapers have been.
These are not the savage barbarians we've read so much about. They are men with homes and families, hopes and fears, principles, and yes, love of country.
In other words, they're men like ourselves.
Why are we led to believe otherwise?
As it grew late, a few more songs were traded around the fire, and then all joined in for, and I'm not lying to you, Old Lang Syne.
Then we parted with promises to meet again tomorrow.
And some kind of talk about a football match.
I was just starting back to the trenches when an older German clutched my arm. "My God," he said, "why cannot we have peace and all go home?" I told him gently, "That you must ask your emperor." He looked at me then, searchingly. "Perhaps, my friend, but also we must ask our hearts."
And so, dear mother,
Dear wife,
Dear friend,
Dear sister,
tell me, has there ever been such a Christmas Eve in all history?
and what does it all mean? This impossible befriending of enemies.
for the fighting here, of course, it means regrettably little. Decent fellows those soldiers may be, but they follow orders, and we do the same.
besides, we are here to stop their army and send it home, and never could we shirk that duty.
Still, one cannot help imagine what would happen if the spirit shown here were caught by the nations of the world.
Of course, disputes must always arise.
But what if our leaders were to offer well wishes in place of warnings?
Songs in place of slurs.
Presents in place of reprisals.
Would not all war end at once?
All nations say they want peace.
Yet on this Christmas morning, I wonder if we want it quite enough.
Yours truly,
Yours always,
Sincerely,
With all my love,
John.
Andrew.
Philip.
Tom.
The Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens was published in December 1843. It has never been out of print since. Listen as Scrooge, Bob Cratchit, and several ghosts explore the meaning of Christmas and ultimately life. John DePiro, Vicki DePiro, Debbie Todd, Roger Todd, Debbie Lees, and myself will join our other actors in this adaptation of a radio play broadcast in 1938.
Once upon a time, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. It was a cold, bleak, biting evening, and he could hear the people in the court beating their hands on their breast and stamping their feet upon the pavement to warm them. The door of Scrooge's counting house was open, so he might keep an eye on his clerk, Bob Cratchit, who in a cold and dismal cell worked at his ledgers.
29, 9 and carry 2, 13, 17, 7 and carry 1, and...
Cratchit, shut that infernal noise.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge.
Then you're to stop at Fothergill's on your way home tonight and collect that 17 shillings and sixpence he's owed me forever. And tell him I shall have the constable over there if he doesn't pay at once.
Well, sir, Mr. Fothergill's wife has been ill, sir.
What do I care about his wife? I want my 17 and 6.
I just thought it being Christmas.
Christmas? Christmas? Cratchit? Bob Cratchit?
Yes, sir.
What are you doing there?
Oh, I was going to put some more coal on the fire, Mr. Scrooge. It's cold in here.
You put that coal back in the scuttle.
Yes, sir.
A fire indeed. I can tell you, if you use coal at that rate, you and I'll be soon parting company, Bob Cratchit. Many a young fellow would like your situation, you know.
I'm sorry, sir. My fingers were getting stiff with the cold.
Then put on your mittens.
There was a knock at the door.
There's someone at the door. There's someone at the door. See who it is.
Yes, sir.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Well, yes, ma'am.
This is the firm of Scrooge and Marley, I trust.
Yes, ma'am.
I should like to see the head of the firm, if I may.
Oh, very good. This way, please.
What is it?
A gentlewoman to see you, sir, Mr. Scrooge.
Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Marley's been dead these past 7 years tonight.
Oh,
I'm Scrooge, though I doubt that be any pleasure to you.
I'm sure it will. Now, Mr. Scrooge, at this season of the year, it's only fitting that we should be more fortunate and raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. You may not believe it, sir, but many thousands are now in want of common necessities. Hundreds of thousands are in need of comfort, sir.
Are there no prisons?
Oh, there are plenty of prisons, sir.
And the workhouses? They're still in operation, I trust.
I wish I could say that they are not, but they are, sir.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor then.
Both are very busy, sir.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them under their useful course. Now, what do you want from me?
Well, Mr. Scrooge, a few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund for the poor and destitute. What shall I put down for you?
Nothing.
You wish to remain anonymous, sir?
I wish to be let alone. I don't make merry at Christmas time, and I can't afford to help make idle people merry. I help to support the establishments that take care of the poor. Let those who are badly off go there.
Well, many can't go there, sir, and many would rather die.
Then let them do so and decrease the surplus population. Besides, how do I know that this is true?
You might know it someday, Mr. Scrooge.
It's not my business. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon. Cratchit, show this woman out.
Yes, sir. This way, sir, please. Oh, excuse me, ma'am. I couldn't help overhearing. I would like to contribute threepence. That's all I can afford. But if there are others in worse situations than I...
You are a generous fellow. I wish I might say the same of your employer.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good day. Merry Christmas.
Good afternoon, ma'am, and Merry Christmas. 14, 24, 31, 1 and carry 3.
The clock strikes 5.
17, 21, 33, 3 and carry 3, 4, 7, 8,
Cratchit!
12, 15.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir?
Cratchit, it's too late to have you go to Father's Gills. He'll be closed up for Christmas like those other fools. You may as well close up this place now.
Yes, sir. 'Tis getting a little dark. It's hard to see the figures.
I suppose you'll want the entire day tomorrow, Cratchit.
If convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair. If I was to stop half a crown of your wages for it, you'd think yourself ill-used, I'll be bound.
Well, sir.
And yet, you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
But it's only once a year, sir.
Once a year. Once a year indeed. A fine excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. I suppose you must have the whole day. Well, see that you're here all the earlier the next morning. Do you understand?
Oh, I will, sir. I will. Well, good night, sir. Good night, and Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
The office was closed in a twinkling. Bob Cratchit, with the long ends of his white comforter dangling below his waist, went down a slide on Cornhill 20 times in honor of it being Christmas Eve. And then he ran home to Camden Town as hard as he could to play with his family at Blind Man's Bluff. Miss Scrooge, on the other hand, took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern and spent the rest of the evening with his banker's book before going to his dismal house. Before he shut the heavy door, he walked through the rooms to see that all was right. Nobody under the table, nobody under the sofa, nobody under the bed, nobody in the closet. At midnight, Scrooge stretched his numb fingers over the wretched fire. Then he saw something that made him draw back. Slowly, the meager embers dissolved before his eyes into a ghostly face. But it was one that Scrooge recognized as the face of Marley, dead these 7 years.
Humbug. Humbug. Humbug?
Scrooge got up and walked away from the fire. As he turned, his glance happened to rest upon a bell, a disused bell that hung in a corner of the room. It was with great astonishment and with a strange, inexplicable dread that he looked, and he saw the bell begin to swing. It grew louder, joined by other bells. Presently, every bell in the house was ringing, echoing throughout the rooms. The noise reaches a peak. The bells fade out at the loud clank of heavy chains dropped on the wooden floor. It was the same face that he had seen in the fire. Marley's face and Marley's body coming straight at him through the door. A body pale as the bluish smoke that comes out of a chimney. The chain Marley drew was clasped around his middle. It was long and wound about him like a tail. And it was made of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, and heavy purses wrought in steel. Even now, Scrooge would not believe his eyes.
Ebenezer Scrooge! Ebenezer Scrooge!
Marley, what do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Well, who were you then? You're You're peculiar for a ghost.
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley? But you're dead. You died 7 years ago this very night.
You do not believe me then?
I do not.
Why do you doubt me?
Well, a slight disorder of the stomach makes these eyes cheats. You may be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an undone potato. Humbug, I tell you, humbug.
At this, the spirit, taking the bandage off its head, as if it were too warm to wear it indoors, its lower jaw dropped upon its breast.
Ah!
Man of the worldly mind, do you believe me now?
Oh, I do, Jacob, I do. Why do you come to me, Jacob?
It is required that every person, that the spirit within them, should walk abroad among their fellows and travel far and wide to witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth and turn to happiness.
Tell me, Jacob, what is that chain you wear around you?
I wear the chain I forged in life. Cash, boxes, keys, ledgers, purses. I made it link by my only free will. Is this pattern strange to you, Ebenezer? Yours was the heavy and long chain as this 7 years ago, and you have labored on it since, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Old Jacob Marley, tell me more. Speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have no comfort to give you, Ebenezer, only incessant torture of remorse.
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business? Mankind was my business. Charity, mercy, benevolence, they were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business.
I will hear you, but please don't be hard on me.
I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of redeeming your fate, Ebenezer.
You were always a good friend to me, Jacob. Go on, Jacob.
Listen to me, Ebenezer. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I think I'd rather not.
Without their visit, Ebenezer Scrooge, you cannot hope to shun the pattern I have tread. Expect the first tomorrow morning when the bell tolls 1. Expect the second at 2. The third upon 3 a.m. Look to see me no more, but remember what has passed between us.
Marley!
There's the clank of heavy chains being dropped on the wooden floor. Then they are dragged away.
Jacob Marley!
The clock strikes 1, and a low, ominous echoing throughout the house. Scrooge, lying on his bed, fully dressed. Suddenly, the curtains of his bed were drawn aside, and Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them. A strange figure, like a child and like an old man. Its hair was white with age, and yet the face had not a wrinkle. Its dress was of the purest white, trimmed with summer flowers. It held a branch of fresh green holly in its hand.
Ebenezer Scrooge! Ebenezer Scrooge!
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
What business brings you here? What do you want of me?
Your welfare, Ebenezer Scrooge. Rise and walk with me.
No, not the window. I'm mortal. I'll fall down.
Bear but a touch of my hand, and you shall be upheld in more than this. Come, follow me, let's go.
Suddenly, Scrooge and Christmas Past stood at an open country road with fields on either hand. Scrooge began to recognize every gate, every post, every tree, until a little market town appeared in the distance. Shaggy ponies were trotting toward them, with boys on their backs. All were in great spirits, shouting through the broad fields until they were so full of music that the crisp air laughed to hear it.
Not all the boys and girls were singing on that Christmas day, were they, Ebenezer Scrooge? See that bleak building over there?
That building? I was a boy there. I went to school in that place.
Strange you have forgotten it for so many years. Come, look through the window into this cold, barren room. What do you see, Ebenezer Scrooge?
I see a boy.
A solitary child, neglected by his friends, sitting alone, an open book before him.
Yes. Yes, I see. I know that boy. I was lonely. Oh, poor boy.
Your lip is trembling, Scrooge. And what's that on your cheek?
It's nothing. I wish that, but it's too late now.
What is the matter?
Nothing. There was a boy singing a Christmas carol earlier. I should have liked to have given him something, that's all.
Come, Ebenezer Scrooge, my time grows short, and we have yet another journey to make.
A loud crash, a thunderous wind. Then everything grows quiet and quiet. Again, Scrooge saw himself in a room that was vaguely familiar. He was older, a man in the prime of life. He was not alone, but sat by the side of a fair young girl. There were tears in her eyes.
It matters little, Ebenezer, to you. Very little, I know. Another idol has displaced me. And if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one.
Belle, listen to me. There's nothing the world's so hard on as poverty, and yet nothing it pretends to condemn so much as the pursuit of wealth.
The world again? You fear the world too much, Ebenezer.
Belle, have I changed towards you?
When we were engaged, we were both poor.
Was it better then? Belle, was it better to be poor?
Better to be happy. You've changed. You were another man then.
I was a boy. Do you blame me because I've grown wiser? Have I ever tried to break our engagement?
In words, no, never.
In what then?
In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in everything that made my love of any value in your sight. So I release you from your promise.
Belle, I love you still.
Oh, at first, it may cause you pain to lose me, but soon it will be a half-remembered dream. And you'll be glad to be awake from such a dream. May you be happy in the life you have chosen, Ebenezer, for the love of him you once were.
Spirit, it is enough. Show me no more.
These are the shadows of things that have been. They are what they are.
Do not blame me.
No more, no more.
One shadow more. Come.
The relentless ghost pinioned him in both his arms and forced him to observe what happened next. They were in a room, not a very large or handsome room, but full of comfort. All around them were voices of children talking and laughing, and before the winter fire sat a young girl so like the last that Scrooge believed it was the same, until he saw her, the girl he had been betrothed to. Now a handsome, middle-aged woman sitting with her husband at their own fireside.
Do you see this man, Ebenezer Scrooge? This man might have been you. And that girl might have been your daughter, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh, Spirit, let me go. Please, show me no more.
Well, dear, I saw an old friend of yours today.
Who was it, Robert?
Guess.
How can I? Oh, I know, Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window. It wasn't shuttered, and there was a candle inside, and I couldn't help seeing him. His partner lies at the point of death, I hear, and there Scrooge sat, all alone, quite alone in the world, I do believe.
Oh, Spirit, haunt me no more. Leave me. Take me back. Take me back.
In his anguish, Scrooge began to struggle with the ghost of Christmas past. Scrooge was conscious of being exhausted and overcome by irresistible drowsiness, and further off, of being in his own bedroom. The stroke of 2 awakened him, and he sat bolt upright in his bed. The echoing clock strikes 2, low and ominous. He remembered the words of Marley's ghost and wondered from which direction the second specter would appear. He drew aside the bed curtains and established a sharp lookout all around the bed. When no shape appeared, he was taken with a violent fit of trembling. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour went by. Then a blaze of light streamed upon it. Being only light, this was more alarming than a dozen ghosts. He got up softly. He was in a sitting room. There was no doubt about that. But it had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green that it looked like a perfect forest heaped upon the floor to form a kind of throne were turkeys, geese, great joints of meat, mince pies, plum puddings, and bowls of punch. And in easy state upon the couch, there sat a jolly giant, glorious to see, who bore a glowing torch, in shape not unlike Plenty's horn, and held it high up to shed its light on Scrooge.
Come in, Ebenezer Scrooge, and know me better.
You're...
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You've never seen the likes of me before.
Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last time on compulsion and learned a lesson which is working now. If tonight you have anything to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe, Ebenezer Scrooge. Touch my robe.
There's a crash of thunderous wind, and then church bells start chiming. Sunlight brushed them as they streamed through the clear morning air. The second specter flew at a leisurely speed, and Scrooge had time to observe people below. Scrooge and his ghostly guide circled the tall spires as the steeples called good people all to church and to chapel. And there below them lay Camden Town, with its squalid streets of ugly frame houses. Of all these dwellings, the ghosts selected the humblest for their visit. Scrooge, by now, was past all surprise, recognized Bob Cratchit's wife, busily laying the table. Assisting her was Belinda Cratchit, second of her daughters, while Master Peter Cratchit plunged a fork into the saucepan of potatoes. And now 2 smaller Cratchits, a boy and a girl, came tearing in screaming that outside the baker's they'd smelled a goose and known it was their own, and now basking in luxurious thoughts of sage and onions. Then once more the door opened.
Martha, Martha, we've got a goose. Wait till you see it, Martha.
Quiet, children, quiet. Why, bless your heart, Martha, my dear.
Merry Christmas, Mother.
Merry Christmas to you. How late you are, Martha.
Oh, we had a deal of work to finish up last night, and we had to clear away this morning.
Well, never mind, so long as you're here now. Sit down before the fire and have a warm. Lord bless you.
But where's Father?
He's gone to church with Tiny Tim. They'll be along directly.
How is Tiny Tim, Mother? Any better at all?
Sometimes I think he is, and sometimes I think, oh dear God, if anything should happen to Tiny Tim, if Tiny Tim should die.
Mother, you mustn't even think such a thing.
Here they come.
Oh, Father and Tiny Tim.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Martha.
Merry Christmas, Father. And Tim.
Merry Christmas, Martha.
And there was Bob Cratchit and Tiny Tim upon his shoulders. Poor Tiny Tim, he carried a little crutch. His legs were in an iron frame.
And how did little Tim behave in church, Bob?
Oh, I like church, Mother. Oh, they sang the nicest hymns. And the people were so kind to me. It was such fun riding home on Daddy's shoulders.
He behaved as good as gold, and better. Somehow he gets thoughtful, sitting by himself so much, and thinks the strangest things you've ever heard. He told me coming home that he hoped people saw him in church because he was lame. And that might be a pleasant on Christmas Day for them to remember who made the lame walk and the blind see.
Tim, you darling.
Mother, the goose is ready.
The goose, Mother.
Mother, I'm hungry. The goose.
Oh, yes, children, all ready. All come, take your places and wait your turn. There's plenty of stuffing and dressing and plum pudding for you all. Now, Martha, you take care of Tiny Tim. That's right. And see that he eats plenty. He must get strong and well.
And now we shall say grace. Our Father, who art in heaven, we thank thee for the daily bread which in thy mercy thou dost give to us. Bless us this Christmas day. Keep us all together so that for many years to come we may unite here to do what thy will and to praise thy name. Amen.
Amen.
And now, my dears, with such a dinner, a toast. Merry Christmas to us all, and God bless us.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
And now to Mr. Scrooge. I'll give you a toast to Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast indeed, who pays you all of 15 shillings a week? I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast on, and I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
My dear, the children, it's Christmas Day.
Well, it should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, unfeeling man as Scrooge.
My dear, Christmas Day.
Well, I'll drink his health for your sake and the day's, not for his. Long life to him, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
And I say, God bless us, everyone.
Spirit,
I
Spirit,
didn't say that right.
tell me, will Tiny Tim live?
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved.
No, 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 kind Spirit. Say he will be spared. Say he will live.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
I speaking loud enough.
Many calls Scrooge made that night with the ghost of Christmas present. The spirit stood beside sick beds, and they were cheerful. In foreign lands, and they were close to home. By poverty, and it was rich, in almshouses, in a hospital and jail, the ghost left a blessing. And while Scrooge remained unaltered in his outward form, the ghost grew older, clearly older.
My life upon this globe is very brief, Ebenezer. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
At sunrise. Look, the hour has come.
No, not yet, not yet. There are still more things I wish to learn.
These you will learn from another spirit, Ebenezer.
Scrooge looked about him for the ghost. It had vanished, and he found himself once more in bed, in his dressing gown and his nightcap on his head. He heard the clock strike 3. And then he beheld a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming toward him like a mist along the ground. The spirit slowly, gravely, silently approached.
I am the ghost of Christmas yet to come, Ebenezer Scrooge. I'm about to show you the shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us.
Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I've seen. Lead on, lead on. The night is waning fast, and it is precious time.
Suddenly, they were in a room which Scrooge seemed to remember having seen before, where a woman and a child were.
Oh, my son, my little son, Tiny Tim. I loved him so.
Mother dear, you mustn't. It's almost time for Father to be home. Don't let him see you crying.
Yes, Martha, he's late tonight. He walks slower than he used to. And yet, I've known him to walk very fast indeed, with Tiny Tim on his shoulder.
So have I, Mother.
But he was light to carry, and Father loved him so that it was no trouble at all. Bob.
Good evening, my dear.
You're late, Bob.
I'm sorry. I went by the churchyard today. I wish you could have been with me. It would have done your heart good to see how sweet and green the peace it is. I promised Tiny Tim that we'd walk there on a Sunday.
Oh, Bob.
It's God's will, my dear.
Oh, my son, my little son, Tiny Tim. I loved him so.
Scrooge tried to break through the shade beside him, to talk with Bob Cratchit, to speak some word of comfort. But the sleeve of the ghost of Christmas yet to come passed in front of him and shut the family from his view. And now they were in an obscure part of the town where Scrooge had never been before. Deep in his den of infamous resort, there was a low-brow, beef-bleeding pawn shop, and there was an old charwoman standing at the counter.
Undo my bundle, Joe.
I hope Scrooge didn't die nothing catching.
Oh, don't be afraid. I ain't so fond of his company that I'd take a chance of that. You may look through that shirt till your eyes ache, and you won't find a hole in it. It's the best he had, and a fine one too. They'd have wasted it if it hadn't been for me.
What do you call a wasting of it, Miss Dilber?
Putting it on him to be buried in. Somebody was fool enough to do it, but I took it off him again. If calico ain't good enough for that purpose, it ain't good enough for nothing. You can't look uglier than he did in that one, the old oar.
That's the truest word you ever spoke, Miss Dilber.
So this is the end of him, you see. He frightened everyone away from him when he was alive, to profit us when he's dead.
The phantom spread its dark robe before him for a moment like a wing, and withdrew, and it revealed another place, a churchyard, walled by houses, overrun by grass and weeds. The spirit stood among the graves and pointed down to one. Scrooge crept toward it, trembling as he went, and read upon the stone of the neglected grave his own name.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Spirit, Spirit, am I the man who lay dead upon that bed?
Ebenezer Scrooge.
And then Scrooge saw an alteration in the phantom's hood and dress. It shrank and collapsed and dwindled into a bedpost. The bed was his own. The room was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own to make amends in. Running to the window, he opened it. He put out his head. No fog, no mist, clear, bright, jovial, stirring cold, piping the blood to dance. Golden sunlight, heavenly sky, sweet fresh air, merry bells. Oh, glorious, glorious.
Boy, what's today?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day? Oh, Christmas Day. And I haven't missed it. The spirits have done all in one night. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. A Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year to all the world.
Next morning, Scrooge was early at his office. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming in late. That was the thing he had set his heart upon. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1:15. No Bob. Scrooge sat with his door wide open that he might see him come in. At last he came in. His hat was off before he opened the door. His comforter, too. He was on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock.
8 and 7 of 415. Carry the 1. 24, carry the 2. 32 and 5 are 36.
Hello. You, Cratchit?
Yes, sir.
Cratchit, step this way, if you please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cratchit, what do you mean by coming in at this time of day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
You are? Yes, I think you are.
But it's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge. I was making very merry yesterday, sir.
And I'll tell you what, my friend, I'm not going to stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, Bob Cratchit, I'm about to raise your salary.
Are you? Are you quite yourself, sir?
No, thank heaven, I'm not quite myself. Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas than I've ever given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary, and we'll see what we can do for Tiny Tim and the rest of your family. Make up the fires. Make them up and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
And Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever after. And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well. If any man alive possessed the knowledge, may that truly be said of us and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us, everyone.
Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
The children were all snuggled in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, and Mama in her kerchief, and my in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap.
When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash to open the shutters and threw up the slash.
The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes would appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer.
With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name.
Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all.
As dry leaves that before wild hurricanes fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too.
And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my hand and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound.
He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack.
his eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up in a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow.
The stump of a pipe he held in his teeth, and the smoke, it circled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly.
He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread.
He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose.
He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. And I heard him exclaim ere he drove it out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And
God bless us, everyone.
well, thank you. We hope that you've enjoyed this prelude to our coming Christmas season. If you enjoyed it, please tell other folks. And if you'd like to join this band of crazy people, come talk to any of them. They'll get you there. And you can even come talk with me. I'm not just a pretty face. Until our next presentation, may God's shalom rest upon you. We thank you all. And be careful out there. There's old people driving around. The Grinch will be available for signatures and photos at his tree. Thank you very much.